Thanks for joining me, everybody. Brandon Schaefer here in Hawaii on Maui. And this is my subject right in front of me. There's my little painting spot on the ground that I'm going to paint from, and just a little area park behind me. And yeah, really cool location. So I got there first thing in the morning, probably 8 a.m. or something, 7:30, 8 a.m. I tried to wake up every day, go out and just try to find something to paint, something that looked nice that morning. And this one was pretty tricky, obviously, because of the architecture. I had to draw it out, had to make sure I was accurate. And I might have been a little off here. I did measure it. So, even though it looks slightly off, I measured it correctly. So I just have to roll with it. Starting out with the sky again. I usually start with the sky for the most part, just because it's something easy that I can get down. It's one of the lightest things in a painting for the most part, usually. And it's something that I can get down, and I know it's going to be correct right from the beginning for the most part. And so for this painting, as you can see, I'm trying to, a lot of my architecture in the past has been painted very tightly. And I'm trying to loosen up here with this painting. And I don't know that I achieved the effect that I was going for. I might have overworked it a bit. But as this painting progresses, we can talk about it a little bit more. Maybe some things that I did wrong. So right there is kind of a cool thing that I did. I put, some warmth that I saw, and then I put some cool down, and that side of the building is all in shadow. So I kind of simplified that. That's really cool. Now I'm painting a tree against the building, kind of simplifying it, getting some texture in there. I'm pretty happy with the roof part, even though it kind of looks, it doesn't look very, I don't know what the word is, accurate or something. It's I'm letting some of it bleed into the sky. There's a lot of variety there, some strong color. I'm happy with that at this point. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a cool painting. I'm feeling pretty confident. It's pretty loose, having fun with it. A lot of color variety. That's kind of what I was going for. A lot of color variety in the sky, the ground, the roof so far. And this is kind of what I struggled with, I think. These darker areas, there was a lot of doors and windows on this building. And I struggled with, I think what my problem was, especially right here, I started putting in these darks a little too early, possibly. I probably should have focused more on doing like washes and stuff. And this was also hard because there was this balcony that had these crisscrossing white, almost like some kind of fence, as you guys saw at the beginning there. And it was very hard for me to paint this loosely. I didn't want to sit there and paint it, make it, paint every single little white X and stuff. So I'm trying to just simplify that. And I don't think it came across very well. So that's probably something that I could have done a little bit better. But this painting, it's early in the painting, so I wasn't, I felt a little bummed out with how I did the little fence balcony there. But I just kept pushing on because there's nothing else you can do. You have to just keep pushing on with it. So that's what I'm doing here, and just trying to get a lot of different color variety. It's this green building, so that's my focus at this point, is just trying to get down the color of this building. And trying to maintain, or what do they call it? I'm trying to leave my whites available. What is the word? I don't I'm really blanking out on the word right now. Not maintain my whites, but leave them preserve my whites, I guess is the right word. I guess that's maintaining. I'm trying to preserve my whites here. And there's a lot of white in this painting to preserve, so I'm leaving the white of the paper and trying to be careful. And I think I just I went a little too loose probably with this painting. It's hard for me to say exactly what I don't like about it or what went wrong. But yeah, maybe just a little too loose. But at this stage of the painting, like looking at this, I'm kind of happy with what I have going. It's pretty fun. It's very fun looking. There's a lot of variety happening, soft and hard edges, a lot of color variety. The color harmony is really nice. These greens and browns and, these cooler greens, these warm reds. It's looking nice at this stage. Also, I think what we'll see here as the painting progresses, I really struggle with maintaining the drawing aspect, the correct drawing of the architecture and the perspective of this building. That's something I struggle with in the end, and it looks a little bit funny in the end, but I learned from it. I definitely learned from it, and I'll talk about that more as we get to that. I can really point out where the problem lies. But for now, you can see I'm trying to I'm putting in the shadows. Slowly moving to these darker values as the painting progresses, just like any other watercolor would for the most part. This was another mistake I made, as we'll see here in just a few moments. So there's some palm trees, obviously, because we're in Hawaii, tropical paradise, basically. And there's a lot of palm trees around. So I did well with these two palm trees, and this is where I made my mistake. I added in this middle palm tree that was... these palm trees were definitely there in person. But can you see the mistake that I made with these three palm trees? If you're unsure, let me point it out to you once we zoom out here. They're evenly spaced. And it creates a very boring composition. Seeing those in the background, once you see that they're evenly spaced, it's hard to unsee it. And I didn't see it until I had finished the painting and was critiquing it myself. Like, okay, how did I do with this painting? Because I was so in the zone doing this painting, I missed that compositional element. I'm focusing on value and color, and I'm trying to capture this light before it completely disappears on this building. And because this early in the morning, light moves so quickly. So sometimes, most of the time when you're painting like this, you have to be just very quick. And see, I'm capturing this shadow on the ground, and I'm trying to make sure that I get this in the right spot. And I totally didn't even notice those palm trees are so evenly spaced back there, and it makes it boring to me. Even though that's how it really was in real life, that's kind of something I would say, hey, this is where we kind of break the rules and we don't paint what's directly in front of us. Kind of break the rules. Let's make a more interesting composition. Either leave one of the palm trees out or move one of them over, group two of them together and have one off to the side. Create something more interesting. But I guess with this painting, you can say it's more literal than it is created. So I guess in that sense, it's cool, kind of historical maybe. One day, I don't know. But, it's a boring composition, so that's unfortunate. So I'm just painting in these doors, and it was very interesting color trying to match this, because it was such a very warm reflected light in there. A very dark, dirty yellow ochre. It was very bizarre. But I just painted what I was seeing, so I went with it. And now I'm painting some shadows of some palm trees that were in front of this building off to the side. And I really enjoyed painting these shadows. I think it really brought it some realism. This is when I started seeing it come together a little bit, having these palm tree shadows kind of casting on top of this roof. I know if I didn't explain that, it'd probably be hard to tell what is going on there, but there's kind of a tree off to the side and it's casting this shadow on the building. So that was pretty cool. Just a small detail. That's probably my favorite part of this painting. So here I'm just touching up more, trying to get things straight, cooling off some things in the shadows. Drawing some thin lines there, trying to just give it a little bit more, make things a little more distinct. You can see here, dry brushing some thin lines there. Because I think it's these small kind of suggestions, paying attention to these really small things, not overdoing these small things, but paying attention to some of these small value shifts and stuff. That's kind of what gives a painting life, or it just, when you pay attention to those small things sometimes, not too much of them, like I said, just they have to be in the right spot, It's really kind of hard to explain it. It's more of like paying attention to those small things that are around your focal area. Like here on this tree, the tree's not very important, but I know I need some shadowing in there, so just throwing in some shadows, big, large shadow shapes. But the building, that's where I really need to bring together, some details. And here I'm trying to suggest some windows there. They were very dark windows, and I think I just overdid it. I was trying to be a little too loose about it. I probably would have liked them more if I just kind of dry brushed them in. But yeah, anyway. That's the way to learn from this stuff, is you have to do it. You have to figure out what doesn't work for you. You have to figure out, like, okay, that doesn't work, so next time I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to remember that. So this is where I kind of messed up, like I was talking about earlier, this perspective on these buildings. These kind of posts, these white posts coming down, I accidentally painted the entire ground, and I didn't leave kind of some white for the ground there. Even though they weren't completely white, they were dark at the bottom like this. So yeah, it ended up looking a little funny. I got some of the drawing off. So some of the white posts don't look like they're out from the building like they should. I'm not getting the depth in there that I should be getting. Of course, the painting's not done yet. I'm still working on it. So now I'm painting in some subtle shadows here that were on these posts. And this is where I'm trying to get more of a light effect towards the center of the painting, as we'll see here once it zooms out again. So you can see there, now I'm getting more of a subtle light effect toward the center, the white of the paper on those posts. Scrubbing off some pigment there, trying to lighten up an area. Trying to get more straight lines there for these posts. Yeah, like I said, I think I was a little too loose here. I think I was a little too wild with the brush and not You know, it should have been, these straight lines of these posts should have been a little bit straighter. And the drawing should have been a little bit better. But overall, you know, I'm okay with this painting. It's not my worst, but it's definitely not my best. But hey, I'm in Maui painting this, so it really can't be too bad, right? So here we go. I'm trying to really bump up the contrast here, because when I was seeing this, the shadows were very dark, and those white posts, the white of this building was just so bright. And I was like, okay, I can't make the white of the paper any brighter, so I need to darken the value here of these shadows. And that's what I'm really trying to push here at the, getting toward the end of this painting. That's what I'm trying to push. Trying to push the contrast. So the shadows underneath that second story there's a lot of reflected light bouncing up off the ground onto the side of the building there. So that's why the bottom of the building is more lighter. It's a little bit lighter, more light. So that's what I'm trying to show. Putting some thin lines in to show some separation of some of the doors. Very small detail. Really trying to lighten up that door. I guess it didn't work. Still doesn't look like it worked. So now I'm just overworking it. It's already been overworked, and I'm trying to bring it together, because I know it's not the best. I'm trying to save it somehow. Trying to show more form on these posts. I'm just trying to bring stuff together, even though it's already too late. But anyway, that's pretty much the end of this painting here in just a second. So I hope you guys enjoyed this painting. Even though it wasn't my best, there's always stuff to learn, and that's really the key here. There's always stuff to learn from this, to learn from the paintings you create, or watching the ones that I create, whatever the case may be. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and stay tuned for the next episode. Take care of yourself. Peace.